Ladies and gentlemen, yet another win, yet another victory, and this is just awesome. They have every single possible advantage. The problem is they're so corrupt that they can't wield their influence in an effective manner. Judge slaps down Dem Gambit in Trump impeachment probe. So, yet another victory. Judge slaps down Dem Gambit. Okay, so a D.C. federal judge on Wednesday shot down an attempt by House Judiciary Committee Democrats to link their subpoena from former White House counsel Don McGahn to a separate request for secret grand jury information from a Russia investigation after the Justice Department accused them of trying to game the system. So I talked about this earlier today. Judge now sides with President Trump. Normally, cases are assigned to judges randomly, which the DOJ said is meant to keep parties from attempting to game the system by shopping for the judge they like. But in a Tuesday court filing, the department alleged the Democrat-controlled committee was trying to do exactly that by exploiting an exception that allows related cases to be heard by the same judge. In this case, the DOJ said the panel improperly sought to connect the McGahn case to the grand jury case simply because they're both part of their investigation of the president. So they find a judge that's anti-Trump, and then they try to link two ridiculous cases. They want McGahn to testify, and I explained in my last segment, and by the way, subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. It's literally named H.A. Goodman's other channel. I'm raw, uncensored, unfiltered. It's H.A. Uncut. And it's like awesome. And I explain how Trump defeats Fredo in my last segment and how absurd Chris Cuomo's just unhinged diatribe was against a heckler. So check that out. That's below in the pinned comment. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. I'll have a segment, another couple segments, well, at least one up, another one up today. So they wanted to get a judge that could see both cases that are unrelated, but related under the banner of just try to impeach Trump any way you can, try to undermine him any way you can. Okay, so at first blush, the House Judiciary Committee's view that the related case rule applies is understandable. D.C. District Court Chief Judge Beryl Howell wrote in her order rejecting the bid, quote, nonetheless, closer examination demonstrate that these connections between the two cases are too superficial and attenuated for the instant McGahn subpoena case to qualify. Howell, who is currently assigned to the grand jury case, agreed with the DOJ's argument that the committee's request to unseal secret grand jury information from former special counsel Robert Mueller's probe has to do with the application of the law under the federal rules of criminal procedure, while the McGahn case is a civil matter dealing with enforcing a subpoena where immunity has been asserted. So they have no reason, even though it falls under some legal statute, they have no reason to look at the secret grand jury. So they brought the case. It's like the grand jury information was not enough for Mueller to charge anyone. It was not enough to support a criminal prosecution of anyone associated with the Trump campaign, President Trump himself, for anything to do with election interference. So what's the point? The point is they have egg on their face. They're embarrassed. They're ashamed. They've set up and framed President Trump. Never happened in U.S. history. Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan used a dossier purchased by Clinton, a CrowdStrike assessment outsourced by Democrats, an Alexander Downer piece of gossip. He's linked to the Clinton Foundation. They used Trump's direct political rival to go after him. Now, people are enamored. They're obsessed with his personality. They can't stand his personality. Trump's personality is, you can go through the litany of people, from Chris Cuomo recently to another CNN anchor that I'll talk about on H.A. Goodman's other channel, to, everyone from Smollett to Al Franken to what was his name, Schneiderman in New York, the Attorney General, Avenatti, Stormy, Michael Cohen's in prison now. Then you have McCabe, who's under criminal investigation. You have Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. We found out they were stooping each other. What else? Who else? James Baker. Then there's another FBI agent or official who was recommended for prosecution by the IG. In addition to James Comey, who was recommended for prosecution. How are you winning? Oh, by the way, Hillary's running again. Oh, yeah, she's running again. I've been telling you since 2015 not to believe. I told you the Mueller probe would lead to nothing. I told you Clinton would lose in 2015. She lost in 2016. I'm telling you she's running in 2017. She'll run and lose again in 2020. Democrats have not only have they not learned their lesson, they've doubled down on stupidity, anger, resentment. They're disgruntled. You're talking about people who think that Trump's tweets are horrifically racist, but they're okay with President Obama drinking Flint water in a shameful publicity stunt to get citizens to drink contaminated, polluted water. Now, which is more an example of structural, a systemic, structural type of thing that subjugates people? Which is a greater example? Oh, and not only did Flint water take place under Obama, oh yeah, Standing Rock took place. Native Americans were brutalized by private security forces with freezing cold water hoses and attack dogs and beatings. Oh, that was under President Obama. And we can go, he destroyed a country. Libya is a failed state because of the foreign policy of Clinton, Biden, and Obama. That's one of the... Look, if President Trump had done any of those things, it would have been game over. They would have tried to impeach Trump on the Flint water stunt that Obama pulled. And they would have had a case, too, because it was a shameless political stunt. But see, you got to understand, when President Obama deports 3 million human beings, he's a Democrat, don't you know? There was an article, Orphaned by Deportation, during the Obama years, about kids and their parents being deported and them coming home, not finding anyone. Okay? That was under a Democrat. And I have friends who are Dreamers. I want them to become citizens. Trump already offered citizenship to Dreamers. He wanted a wall. Democrats said, no, you're not going to get citizenship for Dreamers. You're not going to get your wall. Well, if we had a wall right now, it could have deterred a great many people from enduring suffering and possibly losing their lives on the trek to the United States. And we could have definitely prevented the flow of illegal narcotics into the country. And they say, well, most of it comes from the points of entry. Well, okay, what about the rest, the 20 to 30% that doesn't? But see, the thing is, they don't mind deporting 3 million immigrants. What they care about is a wall. They don't see the biggest hypocrites on the planet, in addition to the fact that they cheat their own candidates in Bernie Sanders. And then they get those types of people, Bernie Sanders, to say, oh yeah, my fault. I shouldn't have thought that it was a fair primary. Never in history has there been somebody like Bernie Sanders who was cheated and then foments the same myth that inoculated the Democratic Party from ever really coming to terms with the fact that they rigged a primary. Why even have... The DNC fraud lawsuit was something that Jared Beck, Elizabeth Beck, and Nico House, everyone should be thanking them, all three of them, because that was something that showed the DNC literally stated, we're a private entity and we can cheat whenever we want to. Then they say that this is national security and you have to trust us when we give the U.S. government an assessment from a company we outsourced. I mean, what kind of overt, blatant, transparent conflict of interest is that? It's so absurd. They would never allow the RNC. Never in a million years would they allow the RNC to outsource a company. Okay? And to outsource a company and tell the U.S. government, oh yeah, we were hacked. Okay? So they fabricated and set up Trump, and then they said, well, Trump is this horrible person. He's a bigot. Really? You signed? How do you figure? Because it was the Clintons who engaged in mass incarceration, and it was Trump who signed the First Step Act with prisoners now being let out because of unfair prison sentences. And then you have California Senator, who Willie Brown knows very well, former San Francisco mayor, who is laughing about prosecuting parents for their kids' truancy? What? You have parents working 2 jobs each, or single parents working 2 or 3 jobs. And there's traffic in the morning. It's like, yeah, we get it. You want the kids to go to school. You can't control what a kid does when you drop the kid off to school. You don't know if he's going to go directly to class or hang out with his friends or whatever. Okay? And for low-income families, they're working 2 to 3 jobs. Sometimes it's difficult to get there exactly on time. They have to, but why prosecute the parents? And then she's all, it worked. It's like, well, yeah, but at the same time, did it really? I don't even know I don't know if it worked or not. I know that it's cruel. And then these are the same people like, oh yeah, she smoked out with Tupac or listening to Tupac, and then, but Tulsi Gabbard completely torpedoed her campaign. Oh yeah, how many over 1,000, 1,500 people put in jail for exactly what Kamala Harris said she was so happy and proud of doing. So you have this. They're just a bunch of hypocrites. They don't like his personality. They've already equated him with everything they hate, and they've created a president. President Trump, what he's done, the First Step Act, first president to step foot in North Korea, a great economy, restructuring trade deals so we don't get, there's not an obscene trade deficit with China. The things that he's doing are things that should have taken place a long time in this country. That's and he's completely cleaning house with a very corrupt intelligence apparatus. Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, they're all being investigated by John Durham and William Barr. And either all of them or a number of them are going to get indicted. Eventually, Clinton will lose again in 2020, and after that election, she'll eventually get indicted. She's committed crimes. Trump did not. They fabricated crimes. They couldn't get him on anything. With Clinton, she was so sloppy with all her crimes. Oh yeah, the classified top secret intel on servers outside the U.S. government. And Comey said, well, gee, what do we do? Oh, Lord, what do we do? Oh yeah, she didn't intend to do it. She didn't mean to do it. And then a week before the election, they find even more classified intelligence. So on Anthony Weiner's laptop, they had to use a hazmat suit to look at. But anyway, they want Don McGahn to testify. He's not testifying. He's completely ignoring the House Democrats, as he should. They all should ignore House Democrats. They have no, if the tables were turned, there's pay to play with Clinton. There are money flows. And I love journalists who are like, this is totally fine. It's like, no, if the tables were turned, you would never allow this to take place with Trump. There's $156 million given to 85 donors, and the rebuttal from one journalist was, well, she met with more people. So what? She could have met with 1 million people. The question is why these 85 people gave $156 million to the Clinton Foundation. And why did weapons deals take place with countries that gave money? She got a deal in Russia for Boeing. How did that happen? Then there's the Uranium One, cash flow to Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal. But they're going after McGahn. They're going after people associated with Trump's campaign who, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable now that they have the audacity, and a judge recently sided with William Barr, who was preventing all of this, and President Trump. And they have the audacity to say, well, we have to get to the bottom of something that possibly could have taken place. Really? Really? You're never going to stop. And all of this, ladies and gentlemen, all of this was to just pave the way for Clinton 2020. And we're talking about Peter Strzok's insurance policy. We're talking about everything. And definitely check out Chris Cuomo's tirade is exactly like the epitome of what the left is going through right now. And I explain in my latest segment of H.A. Goodman's other channel. Let's get that channel to 10,000 subs. And this will be, let's get it to 10,000 subs before Clinton announces. Because she's going to announce, Lord Almighty. She's going to announce. That's the Clinton campaign now. She's going to announce. And she's going to run. And ladies and gentlemen, when she runs, you will understand why everything took place. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very, very much. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. If you want to support my other channel, H.A. Goodman's other channel, that also is helped greatly with support on Patreon. Thank you very, very, very much. Read my writing in the Federalist and the Jerusalem Post, and I'm hopefully going to have an article out in the next couple of days. When it comes out, please share it everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. Have a great day. Check out my segment.